Do we have a draft?
We saw this yesterday, though. Both teams thinking very hard about these initial bans because there is this set of heroes that are all highly prioritized here. Storm, Bat, Quap, Troll, Sniper. Those are the big ones that we've seen.
I mean, you'd think you would have planned, like, during your wait time, like, what are we going to ban? They just lost 11 seconds of reserve time, but...
Oh, what a bummer.
They were busy making love to the camera. What are you talking about?
All right, well, Queen of Pain, Sniper, nothing out of the ordinary so far.
It's the teams you wouldn't expect banning those heroes. It's Vici who banned the Sniper, which they run more than IG do, and IG who banned the Queen of Pain when normally we see 430 on... I'd say Super plays Queen of Pain as much as he plays some of these other heroes.
Yeah.
Super and 430 have a very, I would say, identical hero pool, with the main exception being the Sniper, though. They both play Queen of Pain, they both love Storm Spirit, they both love Shadow Fiend. So
yeah. I feel like I see Super play more teamfight heroes, maybe, but as a whole,
he used to play like a lot of teamfight.
He played Magnus yesterday, I think. And that's a hero that you haven't really seen Ferrari. Ferrari's like always on a carry / semi-carry. I mean, Ember Spirit's a perfect example. Can make space, but still last hits a lot. So
that's true.
But yeah, definitely very similar players.
IG thinking about this quite a bit. They will have the first pick, and here we see our first change.
PL first.
Phantom Lancer banned out straight away.
That's a... Does anybody pick PL first round? That's so
Vici Gaming
peculiar. Maybe it counters
that was what they did in the deciding game yesterday.
They opened with Venge PL in Game 3.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So I guess that's what they're afraid of. They probably talked about it a lot last night.
And you have first pick, so you can leave the pool much more open when you have control over what you're going to get your hands on. If this leaves like a hero like Storm, Shadow Fiend, Trolls in the pool, you decide what you're getting and what your opponents have their hands.
One of those three is definitely making it through here. The question really is, which one does IG want the most?
Probably Storm Spirit, I think. I think they take Storm over Troll for sure. The main thing is they've been running more Shadow Fiend because Storm's been getting banned. I don't think they've had a single Storm game all tournament because it's always been banned out.
Yeah. And the other thing is if they don't take the Shadow Fiend and he gets left in the pool, then Vici will have the option to grab Shadow Fiend Earthshaker, but it is the Shadow Fiend that's banned out, so quite possibly a Storm Spirit first pick for IG, as you mentioned.
Yeah, this is kind of confident from Vici Gaming. I think it's FY's way of saying, look, you guys can first pick Storm, we have a way of dealing with it, and early game aggression, which is Vici Gaming's staple, is a good way of doing it. They don't actually go Storm.
Prove you wrong.
Get the Troll.
I think this is pretty good because there's still a high chance that they can get Storm here if Vici Gaming doesn't feel like playing it. And if they would have picked Storm immediately, Vici could have just opened up with huge counter picks just to start things off. If they're committed to 2 out of their 5 heroes, then they might not have as many abilities and options and opportunities to pick Storm counters. So it leaves them open. And they do go for the Storm themselves, so things get a little tough.
Zeus also still in the pool, a hero we haven't talked about much, but is in the top 5 picks for Vici Gaming on this patch.
So Troll versus Storm is not very good. You can blind him, and he's very reliant on right-clicking, but Storm versus Troll, Storm can kind of do whatever he wants, at least until he runs out of mana. And with the Lion pick to follow that up, that's a really scary ganking duo.
Yeah, and also just denies one of the most commonly picked support options for countering a Storm Spirit, having Hex Impale, going well the late game. Deals well with Storm as well as any possible carry for Hal that may come out.
So pick now from Invictus Gaming before we move into the ban stage. It's a time to grab a core that they expect to get banned. Maybe a support that counters Storm would be good here. That's usually where bans usually target around protecting your heroes in a lot of cases, and especially with the Storm Spirit, I feel like you have to protect that hero a little bit. So do they grab the hero that counters the Storm here?
We have seen a fair bit of Disruptor play this tournament. Not going to be the choice here, but Lina.
So kind of okay versus Storm. If there's a stun setup, you can follow up and burst him, but getting that first stun down is the tough part.
I'm wondering if this is, normally with IG this is a support Lina, but could be something which matches up well mid lane against Storm Spirit as well.
Well, we did see Burning play it a lot yesterday. I think he played at least one game.
He played one Lina game yesterday.
Just one?
Just
okay.
one.
It was that one where he started in the off lane and did a lot of aggressive things, and not going to see it this game?
Yeah.
Maybe, might.
Third ban from IG on the Broodmother.
No These teams just know each other well. That's a big thing coming into play here. When you go, like the Cloud9 versus IG series, the teams only know what their oppositions do, like their commonly picked heroes, their common strategies, so it's much easier to read where the drafts are going. When you got 2 teams who verse each other so many times, that's when you see appeal as one of the first 2 bans. You see something more unconventional coming out from Vici Gaming as well as IG.
Yeah. Rubik now the third ban for Vici Gaming.
great support to counter Storm. He's got an instant lift, and most of the time Storm can be evasive just by canceling your animations. If you're trying to cast on him, he'll ball, and then he'll ball again. And it's basically like playing a can I click on this fast-moving object mouse game in your browser.
In terms of interaction with Lina versus Storm, if she gets a Yules, can Storm pretty much always ball lightning out of that, or is there a little window? Does Lina have the advantage there for the most part?
I think they nerfed his
fairly 50-50
cast animation a while ago.
If you perfectly time it, it's impossible to get out of. If you're like 0.2 seconds off, you can ball out if you don't have to. Like, you need to make sure you ball lightning the direction you're facing. If you have to turn, you're pretty done for. But if you time it perfectly, there's just no way to ball lightning at all.
Okay, so Lina can provide the trump card there.
Yeah.
And here we see IG banning out the Tide Hunter 4th, and I think that's a little bit of respect from yesterday after seeing Ice dominate in Game 3.
It's really unexpected, too, because nobody's playing Tide right now. He's definitely fallen off since some slight nerfs to Anchor Smash and Refresher Orb, but he made that hero look still really good. And it was a 1v1 matchup. Most Tides had been playing off lane recently, so that was maybe one of the reasons why he did so well, is that in the 1v1 against certain heroes, Tide is still good. But taking a ban and no Tide Hunter this game.
Yeah. As far as other things here, the big initiator still in the pool is the Batrider as well as far as offlaners go. Both Luo and Ice play it. Not like a commonly picked hero, but still seems very strong for either team.
Well, showing some respect to Luo here. They ban out the Spirit Breaker, and now Vici will take Axe, probably their offlaner for Ice.
Yeah. Good against Troll Warlord in general.
Good if he jumps on Lina. Lina's got pretty low HP, low armor.
Batrider has to be tempting for IG here. Another good hero to try and lock down the Storm. You have a Laguna to follow up, so you could burst him down in the duration of the lasso.
It's pretty good against Storm, but Storm's also good against Bat, I feel. Like, it's a
It is a 50-50 matchup.
You can jump on him, but if he goes on you first, then Bats usually get blown up. They don't get Ghost Scepters in most cases. Force Staff is sometimes enough to get away, but in the late game, Storm has a ton of mana. So I feel like Bat is an option here, but they do grab a Sand King. So Sand King Lina, potential support duo, very, very old school, but it also still could be a mid Lina. But the idea is that Sand King has a very reliable stun if you're within range.
The prized Wisp that we talked about. It's Vici Gaming that take it.
Okay, so what's the combo? Wisp, Axe?
I don't even think you need it. Yeah, it feels like it's not even a combo. It's just a good support in general to deal with to be aggressive yourself in the early game and to perhaps counter the early ganks coming out of IG, being able to just sit behind a Storm Spirit or an Axe and keep them alive, heal them back up.
And there's a lot of stack clearing heroes on Vici Gaming's team as well. Wisp can kill stacks, Storm can kill stacks, Axe can kill stacks. They can definitely move into the enemy jungle, limit Sand King's fast Blink Dagger, things like that are definitely possible here.
So looking at this, it feels like classic Vici to me, where you look at the Wisp and you don't know where it's going to be. It could be even a safe lane Axe with a Wisp partner. It could be the off lane Axe where they grab a more classic Wisp partner with their last pick, like a CK or a Tiny. Very open-ended and makes this a little more difficult for IG. Depending on if they want the Lina as a core support, Disruptor could be a tempting pick here.
For Invictus?
For IG, yeah.
Axe racks him pretty hard if he catches him.
Yeah, but he's a go-to against Storm and Wisp.
He's good against Storm, but he doesn't feel he's good against Storm, but he's not amazing against Storm. Like, it's sometimes works. If he balls far enough, the glimpse is out of range and you can't get a glimpse. But I feel like
430 Invoker. That's a classic.
Yeah. We saw IG play the Invoker yesterday. LD's excited. Ooh.
There's a lot of, there's not a lot. There's a LSA and a Sand King Burrow Strike. Could be an Exort Invoker, but Quaswex always solid. The more stable option these days, but I wouldn't mind a good old Exort Invoker.
Another way to control the Storm.
Is it better to do that over EMP Tornado?
I don't think so. Exort is just so much more volatile if you don't get the kills out of it. Or
Mana Draining Wisp is one good way to counter him.
Cold Snap is amazing against Storm.
If you turn off if you burn the overcharge, it doesn't matter anyways that much, but I feel like Wisp early game mana is pretty low, Axe's mana is very low, Axe is pretty crappy without mana in a lot of ways. You can't call, can't continue chopping people. Could go both ways, I think. Exort doesn't counter Storm as much, but they do have, it's going to be Exort. They've got a Sand King and a Lina. They're going to roam around the map, they're going to have a core Invoker, and they're going to set up Stun Strikes, like almost for sure, just by looking at the stuns they have already.
Yep.
That's very likely.
So with this, it will be a support Lina. most likely, unless we see something really funky like an offlane Sanking or Invoker.
Yeah.
But
It could be aggro try. Ice. Oh, I'm sorry, that's IG's pick.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Offlane Sanking could be a potential option. I don't think particularly likely, but
that would have worked with an Exo Invoker, having a Morphling stun. There's your setup for a Sunstrike.
That's good.
smart ban from Vici indeed. And there's the Tiny. So thinking it's the offlane Axe and still looking for a position 1 to pair with the Wisp, I think as good a ban as any for IG. That's a tough 5th ban.
I think they definitely need a BKB or Magic Immune carry against Sanking, Lina, Invoker. If you don't want a BKB hero, you can go for something like a Lifestealer, but I don't know if Lifestealer is really the best option these days.
It's not good against Troll. It actually has a really negative win rate, at least on Dota Buff. I mean, it's not indicative of pro games, but it shows you the base levels of the heroes. Tons of physical damage from Troll with a bash that goes through BKB. It's like exactly what you need versus Lifestealer. And as soon as you blind him, it's like, you're worthless.
So Pierre, there's your BKB carry. Goes well with the Wisp. And fights pretty well against Troll with Evasion. Troll does not typically want to go for an MKB, although he's probably going to be forced to do so against PA.
Yeah, won't come out till slightly later in the game, though.
Probably SNY MKB, I think, or maybe BKB SNY, or BKB MKB. It's probably going to be his progression here.
Yeah. So
think he
IG
does need
looking
BKB.
most likely for their Luo hero with this final pick. The Bat Rider's still in the pool, though, as Purge mentioned, kind of 50-50 against the Storm.
And even Wisp, you've got the relocate to save whoever gets lassoed, potentially.
PA can jump on him in lane really easily, too. It's actually kind of a dangerous... It's one of the scariest things about PA in the laning stage.
And they settle on Magnus.
Seems like just like what's left, like what's going to give us something useful here. And Empower for the Troll Warlord is going to be one of the big things Magnus can offer. Even if you get underleveled, underfarm, Skewer RP, throw an Empower on Troll, and this hero can catch up. Even if you're just stacking Ancients and getting zoned out, you can leech XP when the Troll comes to farming.
Plus Chaos Meteor, man. Can't wait for the RP Chaos.
I hope this is an Exo Invoker. It'd be really fun to see, but
Yeah.
it's looking more likely to be a Quaswex.
Really? You think so?
Well,
If Sony's stunned,
I kind of agree with Purge here. They just have so much setup for it.
there's so much action, you know? Like, Ferrari can sit in his lane, he can get last hits, and he can still contribute with kills. I feel like that's pretty likely with Sanking Lina. If it was less ganky supports, I would say Quaswex for the lane, but Exor Invoker's maybe a bit weak against Storm because he's not as defensive. If you whiff your Cold Snap or Cold Snap's on cooldown, you just die. So, I don't know. We'll see.
All right, and with that, game 1 of this best-of-5 finals of Vici versus IG will get underway. LD and Cinderin will be your casters. Boys, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the StarLadder Season 12 Grand Finals. Vici Gaming have the winner's bracket advantage. They automatically lead 1-0 in the best of 5. Hey, Sind, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very excited for this game, of course, as hopefully everyone else is. This is not really a surprising grand final, in my opinion. Based on the entirety of the tournament, I do think these two teams have been the strongest. Vici Gaming, of course, with the winner's bracket advantage, being up 1-0 in the best of 5 from the start here. Also, I don't think there's been anything that surprising as far as that goes. So,
yeah, both teams looked extremely strong coming into the event. So in that sense, maybe not a guarantee they would make it here, but like you said, not surprising in the slightest. So, well, it is going to be the 430 Invoker. He's starting off with Blades of Attack. Generally, this signifies the early phase boots, and I'd say more often than not, that will mean Quaswex Invoker is the choice.
I think Ferrari was the player to pioneer this build in competitive Dota, where you start with Claws on Invoker, compensating for the obvious very low base damage, which is a huge weakness for the laning phase. But doesn't need so much regen, doesn't need a bottle in comparison to a lot of other generally mid laners, as we're going to assume he will be going mid with this build. This is going to be the case here. He gets the bounty rune. Top one goes to FY, and he will be grabbing a quick bottle as a result. What do you think? So they were talking about Quaswex versus Quasexort. I think Quaswex is extremely good against Wisp. That would probably be my go-to. The moment you see a relocate, you can Tornado counter it. EMP ruins Wisp's ability to use Overcharge, unless he has to start bottling up immediately. And his tandem as well will be hit by the EMP. It sucks for a PA as well. Great against Axe. Seems like a solid choice.
Let's talk about it in just a second here, Chuan. Not going to make us go nice. So actually will. Burrow Strike comes through. You don't really want to be going up on this Axe right now, not with the whole creep wave following Ice. I think the one big thing is, yeah, they do have good setup for Sunstrike. That is a fair point that I Purge and Zari were making. But I feel like the other consideration is you really want as much control as possible for the Storm. And if you go cross-Wex, generally we see the very early Orchid coming out as Ice taking some heavy harassment here in the top lane. And that gives you a way to shut him down before he gets out of hand. So I would lean towards the cross-Wex being the way to go, and it seems that is the choice, at least for now.
He can, of course, choose somewhere down the line if he wishes to get a little bit more of a flexible build.
The other thing is,
we've seen 444 before.
Do they really need more damage? They have Magnus. They've got massive high damage supports, lots of AoE. They have a Troll who's going to have Empower. I feel like they just need as much control as possible.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Tornado is a great setup. Just, you know, you get a little bit of breathing room, you get time to analyze the fight and see if you can land a good RP. Also sets up very nicely into Burrow Strike.
That's a good point.
It seems like a very nice choice, all in all. Exort definitely has its benefits, but with this matchup that Ferrari has got in the mid lane where he's one-on-one against a PA, very unusual matchup, by the way, I think he's going to be perfectly fine playing as Quaswax.
Yeah, PA is, I would say, a bit underrated in the 1v1 mid situations. You can farm well with Dagger. Once she gets to like level 4 to 5, I wouldn't say she has great kill potential, but she can start to dish out the damage and potentially force the Invoker to play more defensively. So for now, we do see some harass onto Super. Looks like he has ferried himself an additional set of tangos, so plenty of regen to work with. And for now is actually leading the CS, which, again, the Dagger just very nice for last inning.
Invoker's base damage currently sitting on 55 against Super's 60, so has a little bit of an advantage with the poor man's shield opener. It's almost pointless for Invoker to... Of course, he's going to try to harass Super a little bit, but he has plenty of tangos. He has 20% evasion and blocks 20 of Ferrari's damage already with the poor man's shield, so will be very easy for PA to farm here in the start. The thing that's risky for Super is later on, rotations from IG's lineup. These two supports very easily kill PA for the first good 20 minutes of the game. She just dies to burst.
And generally with PA, you can just sit back, farm from the high ground with Dagger, but when Tornado is leveled up a decent amount with Wex, then you can still often get that setup to go in for the kill. So I would agree. I don't think the PA is hugely safe. EMP will come out mid lane, and Super, oh, he loses all his mana. This is going to make life hard here. 430, nice EMP there, and not able to quite get the kill, but we'll force him back. I do want to talk to you a little bit, Sin, about this offlane Magnus for Lua. We used to see Magnus offlane all the time. Back when Skewer had 1200 range at level 1. Nowadays, he feels a lot more vulnerable at 750 at level 1. He has hit level 2.5, and he does pick up his bottle. How do you think the Magnus is going to fare this game? Do you see Luo getting much? And if not, what sort of adjustments should they make to help him out later on?
I think for now this is fine, but they're going to need to swap around so Luo gets the mid lane at some point, I believe. It's the Magnus Blink is going to be a crucial part of their ability to take mid-game team fights, unless if Sand King gets an early one, but I don't think that's going to be the case either. Top lane.
Ice, going hard in the paint here onto Faith. Creeps coming in, they're going to support the first blood of your grand finals goes to Vici Gaming. Well played.
So what IG can do to adapt and give Magnus an actual game here is later on they can move Luo mid and they can move Ferrari bottom. Invoker in the offlane when he has a good early game with some levels is actually fairly hard to gank because of Tornado and high movement speed. And even if you try to chase him down and dive him, Cold Snap under tower is very good. It's very easy to TP defensively and help him out. And you always need to account for Ghost Walk. Then you also need detection. So he's actually not the easiest hero for the Radiant lineup to bring down. And
that's a good point.
If they just keep the lanes like this, like Luo is really not getting much. He's got 10 CS minute 4.5, which isn't all that bad, but you know, if he was in the mid lane right now, he would easily have 20, and Hao can just bully him away from this lane with the Storm Spirit, getting the Flying Vision here from Remnant, harassing him away, and Luo getting some important information here though. Fenrir is not around, else he would definitely be harassing him, so.
It seems right now like Vici Gaming just getting a lot more out of the laning stage. It's not so much the first blood for me, Sin. It's much more just the experience they're getting. This dual lane in the off lane, they've allowed the team to pull ahead 2,000 experience lead. A lot of this coming down to, well, actually Luo hits level 4. He's doing okay at the off lane, but it just seems like the dual lanes are giving them a lot more in the early stages, and you got to worry a little bit for IG. Feels like they need a lot of items before they really come online. The Blink Dagger on the Sand King, who's not going to be allowed to farm it right now. Ice going in deep on him. Out come the orbs. Nice stun, but still kept alive for now. And goes burning. Good backstep, but there's the call. Needs a couple more spins to get this kill. Does he run? Does he fight? Dodges the stun and will make his way out. Very aggressive play here by Vici, and this is 2v3.
And every time they do this, if they don't die, it's a better trade for them. Wisp keeps healing up the axe. He has Tranquil Boots as well. He will be healing up to full. Chuan gets forced back to base. Lina using a couple of spells there now, very low on mana. Also want to point out how important the Dire jungle is going to be for this game. Axe can...
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Solo kill by Hal.
I was not looking for that, but Hal managed to grab level 6, so...
Yeah, he was level 6. The mag was fairly high HP, but this is... You go for the max overload build, and you could just burst somebody down from almost full to none.
So the Dire jungle, there's going to be some stacks coming out here for IG, and Vici Gaming are undoubtedly going to expect this, so they will be looking for them here. This cannot happen for IG.
Can they contest this, though? They're not particularly high level. The main hero that could help out is 430, but right now he's under pressure mid, and he's posted up.
Top lane's actually lost now. That's how important this is. Now Sand King's going to have a really hard time.
And with the Wisp, you can take these right away. Can Chuan go in and get the kill? No, Faith too durable. And might even get turned on. They're going in for this. We're only 6 minutes in. There's the call. Dragon Slave comes out. The stick charge is doing work for FY. Don't tell me he lives. Shockwave will finish him off now. The EMP Tornado, but Hasted Super able to just walk away. Looks like he reserved it for after the Tornado. Ice into the trees. Will the neutrals deny him? No such luck. Super now on the run. Good turn here for IG, but they still lost the gigantic stack. I believe every creep went to Vici, though IG at least gets some of the experience towards the end.
I really like IG's decision here to rotate 5 heroes into the jungle and fight it. They know this stack is so important, and even though they lose it, at the very least they end up getting 2 kills for it. They don't go Sand King's way, though, so Tron's very low level, and as a result will be porting bottom to try to get some experience here so he can become relevant in the mid game. So.
But this is, you go back to,
expensive.
Going back to game 3 of the IG, top lane, again the aggression from Ice. Not sure he's really looking for a kill here, but just heavy pressure. If he gets some super lucky spins, could go for it. But it really feels like that was the key in the game 3, was not just the draft of Cloud9, but the fact specifically that draft prevented them from challenging the Sand King in the jungle. Got a free Blink Dagger for Twan. IG are not being afforded that kind of easy laning stage this time around.
Super. He's going to lose all his mana. It's actually super annoying. Okay, no pun intended, but it is actually very, very annoying.
I think I just saw 100 people leave the venue, Sin. You're gonna have to stop, man.
All right. I didn't
They're
notice
streaming
so many
for
people.
the exits right now. Oh, Tron. He'll get picked off on the bottom side of the map, and well, not only is he not finding his farm in the jungle, Sin, but he's struggling all around the map. Now the chase on the top lane. Vici Gaming making quick work of IG here early on. They've got another duck. It's a 2-for-0 special. Ice just styling on IG. Now for the TP out. No, Cold Snap will cancel that, and this will be a much-needed kill. He's very close to the blink. Had about 1980 gold. Will be slowed down. Still, though, again, like you mentioned, I feel the key point out of all of this is, sure, they're trading kills, but Sand King is not farming at all.
And space created.
And Luo isn't either. Neither Blink Initiator is even getting close to that Blink Dagger.
And even if the fights are even, IG are porting heroes around the map. They are being forced to play reactionary Dota. It means that Hao hasn't even had to leave the bottom lane yet. He's doing very, very well for himself, getting completely out-farming every hero in the game. There's actually a 20 CS difference down to the Troll. It's very unusual. We see the safe lane as being this far apart at minute 9, but
what do you think the build is here for Hao? Do you go for that really fast Bloodstone, or do you see an Orchid being more valuable for this team?
That's actually a good question. I think when you're this far ahead and you're playing against this composition of heroes from IG, even if they catch you in a stun, if you have Bloodstone, you might actually be able to survive some of the combos that they can pull out. And when you're playing from far ahead, it should be pretty easy for him to grab a couple kills as well. There's some easy targets on the Dire side that you definitely don't need an Orchid to kill. The Lina is a free kill pretty much all the time for Storm. If he has any detection, can probably solo the Sand King as well, even though he can stun and try to buy some time. Also, already have seen him solo Magnus, so he could probably do that again. It really depends on what Vici Gaming's plan is. If they want to play really aggressive and start taking towers, the Orchid is going to be a very nice setup for PA to follow through. But if they're trying to play more of a split push, I actually think Bloodstone would be a nice choice.
Yeah, the one cool thing if you do want to go Orchid is you have a lot of extra sustain because of the Wisp pick. So you don't need the extra mana regen as much as in a normal Storm game. Do want to mention that Io, dangerously close to level 6. So anytime you see Ice make a move, Blink Dagger should be coming soon. He'll have a +2 available. In general, Vici Gaming just so mobile. They also have the PA, who we haven't really talked too much about, but quietly getting some solid CS here. It's just a lineup of heroes that can jump you out of nowhere.
It's going to be difficult for IG if they don't manage to get these Blink Daggers. We're talking about it a lot, but it really is the most defining thing about their lineup is Blink on Mag and Sand King. And they're the two heroes that have suffered the most, I guess, apart from Faith, but he is the position 5, so expectable that he is bottom of the barrel here. But
And if they don't have those blinks, I feel like Troll can't really do much this game.
Exactly.
PA has evasion to deal with him. Axe has the call that will prevent him from actually getting to focus someone down. They have the Hex, Impale, Storm Pull, a lot of sustain from the Wisp. It's not really one of those games where Troll can do it alone. He needs a good RP, good initiation from supports in order to get the job done.
And how do IG get out on the map is the question. They're playing very, very defensively. They seem to be trying to move around between lanes, but not really finding anything. They have to know they're getting out-farmed while this is happening. Ice is playing in their jungle.
There we go. Burning's been caught. Relocate coming in hot. Looking for the B-God. They get him with the pull into the Remnant. And, well, the Tornado. EMP combo. Oh, too late. They get the dunk. Maybe they can find How on the way out. No, Vici Gaming just running circles right now around IG. Oh, ice. The trapeze artist just jumping right over their heads and vaulting his way back to safety.
Yeah, they got one kill there on the Troll. The highest value kill they can probably find right now is, of course, the Troll of Burning.
They just feel like they have such a nice pace to the game right now for Vici. Every little building block for this aggression just seems to come around the appropriate time. You get the Storm level 6, he finds a kill bottom. Axe gets his Blake, you have your first relocate, and there you go. Oh, bottom lane, Chuan caught out. And they find one, they're looking for a second, and man, they're fast. They have another chop. There you go. Ice. 5 kills already. And Vici Gaming continue to just destroy IG in the early game. They won't find another call here.
Oh my god, if they manage to steal this as well.
Don't tell me How's going to make a move. Oh, zip out, EMP. Won't hit him, but oh no. Sad times right now for IG if this hasn't stopped it. It's too late, Sind. Dagger's going to hit Burning. He has to throw up the Hexes defensively. This is just painful to watch.
Yeah, they're going to leave him one dragon.
That's just cruel and
Thanks
inhuman.
for playing.
That's a double sad face. And they've got the other thing is they got some really great
leaving
wards.
him the dragon. They're going to take that with How.
I don't know which is more depressing. They at least did most of the work for that dragon, so it's almost worse this way. The only thing that would be worse is if they then salted the fields afterwards and warded off the camp.
I think they want to keep it open and steal it later. I mean, why not?
You've got an Axe and a Wisp, but you might as well.
Just bonus resources here for the Radiant side. They're getting so far ahead. It's actually kind of ridiculous.
We're 13 minutes in.
7,000 gold and experience, minute 13. And the problem is, it's not just the lead, right? It's you can't really see any solution for IG right now. The only thing I can come up with is that they have to try to smoke and take a fight because the Blink Daggers are not happening. And if they want to try to wait for them, we're probably talking 10 minutes for the Blink on Mag and maybe Sand King. Magnus has Boots, Bracer, and 450 gold, minute 13.5. This is when solo mid Magnuses that have a good game will already have a Blink, maybe even Blink Arcanes if they have a very good game. And Luo is very far behind. Obviously,
well, those blinks might be delayed even further, Sin. Coming in is FY, joined by Fenrir, and they get him with the air spike. Don't even need to drop the figure. Actually, it was on cooldown there. Nicely played by Vici, and it's just where do you go to farm at this point? They've been warded off in the mid lane. The Ancients are denied to them, and well, they don't currently have any vision in the jungle. They just feel confident to walk around the IG woods. They're really not afraid of getting punished. Just such a good map control game from Vici in general. They did not go for the vision heroes the way we see from Cloud9, but it feels like a very similar kind of style. Just take over the map, get some early kills, and do not give the enemy team any room to breathe.
How many smokes do IG have? They have one on Lina and one in stock, okay? How? Just showing off a little bit here against Luo. Ice grabs his next item. He is just filthy rich right now. This is a minute 15 Axe inventory you're looking at right here.
Jeez. And they're not done making moves. Problem. They want to go again. They've got the Finger of Death online. IG very much backed up already, and should they drop this game, they'll be on match point the wrong way the rest of the series. It is a 1-0 lead by default for Vici here. Not the way you want to open up the series. Chuan looking for initiation top lane, but that's a Vanguard Axe. This is a very difficult kill. They're going to commit heavily for it. Finger comes out. Chuan will probably be the first man down here. Ice trying to finish the job. Big jukes from Chuan. He's going to survive for now. Blow Pearl strikes away, then he runs back into the spin anyway. He'll take his death in the end. Just has to accept it. Meanwhile, Super, quick crit, an easy kill, and they're not done yet. Now hunting 430. Goes in Viz. No more vision. The pianist will dodge away.
I'm not going to get it. So 3 for 1.
And again, a Blink Initiator dying. This is Between the two of them now, Magnus has 2 deaths, Sand King has 4. And more importantly, when they're not dying, they're just sitting back. It's not like they're getting much farm. Really just a strong start here for Vici Gaming.
IG have to get their jungle back. There is actually no other solution. It's the only thing they can do, and they have to keep trying until they manage, because else they're getting out-farmed. If they play passively, they lose. If they try to play inside the enemy jungle, anyone is going to spot them out, and they can just relocate and gank them. They're going to lose that fight. And if they just try to play a farming game, Hao has got a Bloodstone. He's going to farm faster than any other hero in the game right now.
That is such a fast Bloodstone, and he's going to start getting charges now. Finds Faith. Easy takedown, and they might not be done. 430 is scouting them out. Under cover of Invis, but Hao doesn't really seem concerned about that kind of possibility. RP used on him. He's got the Bloodstone, though. Does it matter? Oh, bought back to safety by FY. What a great defensive relocate, and they're coming in, ready to go again. Super trapped under the tower, taking fairly heavy damage, gets a dagger crit, and any second now, Bernie may end up falling. 430, continuing to force them back. May have chucked out a tornado in the midst of that. Leaves Super on his own. Good pickoff there for IG, and I didn't see. Did 430 throw a tornado or something? I thought they were going to go on that.
I didn't see it either. I was following the PA action here as well, and I guess IG, they do get a kill there on Super, but it goes to Lina, and that's really not the hero they wanted it on right now. It's great to get levels and, of course, gold on Lina generally, but it doesn't solve the problem. It's kind of get a blink or go home, it seems like it. They would have loved to get that kill on Chuan. I think he would have actually almost had the blink. With this gold deficit they've got right now, I think Lina got like 600 or 700 gold for that kill. Really, really need to get more of that going. And
well, some sentry wards. Okay, that's a good start. They'll take it. Yeah, it's not really ideal.
Do you remember Ice had Vanguard minute 15?
Blade Mail now?
It's been 2.5 minutes.
Oh, he's almost got a Yules. This is just getting worse and worse for IG.
There's quite a bit of merit to this Yules build. I think it's not something Ice usually goes for on the Axe. What's probably prompted it is the Wex, or the EMP from Invoker. He wants to have mana regen and enough of a mana pool so that even if he gets hit by EMP, he can come back in the fight and cast a couple of spells. Of course, Yules is a great utility item on Axe. Since the last patch, however, you cannot Berserkers call during the Yules. You have to call after. They will not be taunted while in the air.
Oh, again, the pressure. Nice. Chuan, no room for the little Sand King. Trying to hide in the trees, but the orbs are going to splash onto him. Now the dagger. Finger, see ya. Jeez. Okay. Oh, my. Chuan cannot be feeling very happy right now, Sind. And they're just not getting punished. Imagine if IG had those blinks right now. When these relocate ganks happen, maybe they can get there in time to turn those fights, but they're just getting outmaneuvered all around the map, and just to rub salt in the wounds. Now Lion's got a blink. Fenrir finds one before the Magnus or the Sand King on IG.
12,000 gold. Ice finds a rune.
Dire's middle tower.
He's going to go scouting here. Has finished off the Yule, so you can see his mana regen right now. Actually, quite significant, right? It's 5 mana per second. Over the course of these team fights that seem to last, unless if Vici just blow them up, right? He's probably going to get at least 100 mana out of this from regen. He gets the flat 10 intelligence as well from it, and that's a good 250 mana in a fight suddenly that he didn't have before.
It could be a game changer, potentially. Also, will be nice for the potential Orchid pickup from the Invoker. We saw 430 building towards that earlier, and he is going to reveal it now. EMP coming out, silences Hal, but there's a Bloodstone deny available, and Fenrir comes in. 2 heroes stunned. Very nicely done. Now the turn. Blake, call, zip forward, and more Bloodstone charges. Perhaps no, he has the suicide. Right as the Laguna's used. Very well played by Hal again. Thwarting IG at every turn. They get basically nothing out of that fight. They do force the Storm's death, but they don't really get any gold or experience. And
I don't know if they can hope for much better than that without rotating. They probably need to rotate the Sand King with them when they go for these plays, but Chuan had been ganked previously, and I don't know if he was actually in position to even go into that smoke, but I like this play from IG. I think a lot of other teams would just try to play on their half and wait it out, but aggression is the only way back into the game for them. They have to try to find these kills, and
it does allow them to.
It is the way.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of accomplishes what you were mentioning earlier, like take over the jungle again. Well, they don't take it over, but Bernie at least gets to see a camp or two while Vici Gaming are occupied elsewhere. Is there any chance they could try to sneak a Roche here, Sin? They do have the Magnus Troll. I know it's super risky, but Vici don't have the best vision lineup. Do you see a possibility for IG to maybe create a distraction elsewhere and make their way into the pit?
Yeah, it would be a really good play. And you're absolutely right. It's a high-risk play, but that's kind of what you're down to now as Ferrari is down to the ground.
Welp.
Wicked sick.
That was easy.
Nice.
They do have a haste rune here on Luo. He's going to pop it. Moving forward, there's a BKB on Super, but he'll get caught by the burrow. Guess who's waiting? It's FY. See ya. He was so prepared for that. And he might turn around here. Can remove that blind for the troll. Blake forward, BKB, pull him in and slice him up. It's roasted burning for dinner. Skewered as well.
There's just not much to say. IG are just getting thrashed. Totally outplayed in this game.
It's scary to see not only how well Vici are playing, but how calmly confident they've been. All event, Ice in interviews, how in the interview he had on stage. They not only are winning, but they feel like it should be easy for them to win. And so far,
TP's top
it seems to be another dunk. Ice, he's a tall player, and in game apparently as well as in real life.
Wasn't it Chuan who used to play basketball?
Yeah. Daryl looks like he could be a basketball player.
Why does he never play Axe?
I don't know, man. We see like Mushi will occasionally play those like jungling 4-position unconventional type supports, but apparently not good old Chuan. You should really suggest it to him after the match.
Yes.
Hey, by the way, Chuan, I've got a strategy for you. Play a basketball hero.
Axe is pretty good.
We'll have a Blink Skewer back on Ice, but it really only tickles him at this point. The Vanguard, far too durable. They'll just walk away. And Sin, before we saw a good aggressive wards for that stage of the game, one over near the hill, one, I believe, at the mid lane, but now a deeper set have been placed, looking for complete and total map control. There's an Orchid used on Al, but the counter initiation comes. Oh, blinking forward as Ice. Caught in the enemy 430 tornado, but do they even care? Blink RP not going to be available. They just go for the skewer, but BKBs will dodge it, and now the dive towards the well. Crit, need a little bit more in the same moment, 430. Well, looks like they'll end up getting that Lina kill. 4 for nothing, but it just feels so easy for Vici. Even if they have RP and IG, can they really make anything out of it?
Game over, man.
Jeez.
Game over. And it's really nice to see. So it's one thing that Vici Gaming are very far ahead, but the way they're playing the fights and all their micro movements within it, it's super difficult for the Sand King to actually land a good burrow strike. Hao just keeps rezipping. They use the BKBs with great timing. Even though they're playing aggressively, they're still not clustering up, not giving any opportunity for IG to hit a 2-man stun, and they're making it look a lot easier than it is. I mean, granted, it is fairly easy at this point.
At this point, it's easy,
ridiculously easy.
But getting here wasn't that easy. Well, they haven't gone for the roast just yet, but they could very soon. And IG, at this point, they're hoping for that 1 RP to rule them all. And Sin, I have to point out, there is still no blink on Chuan. We're 24 minutes in. A good Sand King support game, if you're left unchecked, we see the blink by like 10 to 12 minutes quite often.
Sometimes even earlier.
Yeah.
I think if you can go full greed and you just stack and farm, I've seen as low as like minute 8 to 8:30, I think, if you get some good camps. And well, that was not the not a possibility in this game for Chuan.
Man, you're depressing poor Chuan here. He got the bounty rune. Now he can buy it. Nice. All right, Chuan, spend your gold. Spend your gold.
This is last chance, actually. It's the one thing that can bring them back in the game is a surprise epicenter. They're going to have to play for that.
I mean, at this point, you kind of just expect, like, all right, at some point, he's probably going to get a blink, but it really is going to take it. Still, it's only a level 1 epi, and Vici Gaming are starting to get very tanky. You've got now an additional BKB, this one on Ice. And I think the Storm, no, just the Bloodstone Orchid, so no BKB.
This Axe has 550 GPM, minute 25.
He's more farm than his own Storm, who had total free farm and an easy solo kill.
It's actually unbelievable.
IG, they've smoked again. This is their second smoke in like less than 2 minutes, trying to make their way in. Oh, they blink onto Ice. Is that the hero you really want to focus, though? I don't know, Cinderid. Charging it is Hao. He will get caught by the RP. Wisp relocates forward. PA arrives. Crit 1, 2. Bringing them all down. That's 3. There's the dunk. Now Chuan could be next. Can he make it out? Call in 2 seconds. A deep dive looking for more. It's 4 dead and GG. Bloodstone suicide. A little icing on the cake here as IG end up getting wiped. Absolutely destructing performance there. Just a complete one-sided beatdown. Vici Gaming looked like they had some good sleep last night.
That IOX offlane completely surprised IG, I think. You saw them banning out the Tiniest their last ban. They were expecting the IO to be pairing up with a classic farming core. Maybe they didn't consider the IOX. Maybe they wanted to eliminate the option for Vici Gaming to do it at least, or do the classic IO combination here. And man, it seems like, so we've seen, I feel like Vici Gaming are one of the really good teams at playing dual lane, off lane Wisp. It's something not many teams play. We've seen them play IO Juggernaut with Ice 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 with great success, IO Axe. I think I've seen IO Bristle from them as well. That's more of a classic combination that other teams play, but they just have so many options when they get their hands on this hero. And the cool thing for them is they don't need to draft it early, because IG will not be picking it. They wait and see, is it good on the 4th pick, maybe even the 5th. This time they get it 4th, and it looked like they had the entire game plan from like minute 0. They knew exactly what they wanted, and they got all of it.
Yeah, you got to kind of feel like Cloud9 probably, if they're watching this game, are like, that is what we needed to deal with the Sand King in the jungle. Obviously, Vici Gaming have the benefit of getting to see IG unveil that last game and to be ready for it, but they just made it look easy.